Welcome to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. I'm your host, Jill Perrick, mindset coach and imposter syndrome expert, and I'm here to tell you that imposter syndrome isn't a life sentence. It's just a dysfunctional way of thinking. If you feel like your ideas are unoriginal, that your message isn't necessary or important, or like you're a complete and total fraud, then you've come to the right place. Time to kick your inner imposter to the curb and create life-changing results for you and your clients. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome back to an episode of the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. I'm your host, Jill Perrick, imposter syndrome expert. And today on the pod, we have life organization coach Hillary Flinn. Hillary and I actually worked together in a mastermind that I did with my biz bestie, Julia Piccoli. And she was in that mastermind back in, I want to say, the end of 2020. So from August 2020 to about February of this year, which feels like a million years ago. It's so wild. And she does something so unique, life organization, that's not just decluttering in terms of your home and with work, but also decluttering of the mind, because it really is a big mindset shift when it comes to getting your fucking shit together. And she is so good at helping you do that. So throughout the episode, we actually also talk about the Worthy Woman method because she is a part of that and recently signed on during our last launch. And if you are unfamiliar with the Worthy Woman method, this is my lifetime access group coaching container for you to consistently overcome mindset blocks and imposter syndrome so you can grow your business to what you want it to be. So you can feel better and more stable and secure in your business because mindset is everything. And this is a lifetime access group coaching container. So you get a lifetime of support, of weekly calls, of all the resources in the client portal. It is epic. And we are reopening the doors in the beginning of November. So if you go to the link in my show notes, you can get on the wait list and save $222 on your enrollment if you decide to join when we launch. Hillary is going to talk about how much she loves the Worthy Woman method, and she is also going to talk about how life organization can really relate to feeling like an imposter. This episode is so good, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Hello, Hillary. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here.
Yes. So can you tell the listeners who you are, how you got started, and what you do?
Absolutely. I am a life organization coach. I am on all the socials as Simple Harmonic, which is my business name. And how I got started with all of that was essentially thinking back to childhood. I've always been a really organized person, putting things together, helping people get more organized in various different aspects of life, whether it's with planners or emails or things like that. And I really liked helping my coworkers in corporate and friends and things like that get organized. And so I always found that really enjoyable. And about, 2.5 years ago, I was just working in corporate and feeling a little bit unfulfilled with just doing that. And so I ended up writing a blog, just kind of helping people with random stuff out on the interwebs, and ended up basically giving more feedback and, specific tutorials and tips for people that was kind of helping them get towards the life that they wanted to lead. And what I found is that just doing a blog wasn't really meeting that need for a lot of people, right? You read a blog and you don't really implement everything that you're seeing. And so I wanted to transform that into something a little more impactful. So I ended up working with a business coach at that time to package it all into a coaching program and launch it out into the world. And so I've been in this business for the past 2 years and also continuing to work in corporate and kind of balancing both and kind of living my own life organization through balancing my schedule and getting organized in all of those different ways. So that's the very short version of my story.
I love it. And I really feel like you look at what you do and you're just like, okay, life organization, because none of us have our shit together. And you and I were actually talking about that because I was like, oh, how are we going to talk about imposter syndrome and life organization? So can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think there's this undercurrent for all of us as we're heading into adulthood that we're supposed to just know what to do, right? Like there really isn't a course or a program when you're going through high school or university that teaches you how to be an adult properly. And so you get into it and everyone's just kind of telling you to fake it till you make it, and you figure things out. You figure out what taxes are, or the fact that your house is a disaster. And you feel this imposter syndrome, like, how did I get here into this adult world without figuring any of this stuff out? And so that imposter syndrome can really keep you isolated and feeling like you can't share that with others. You can't lean on others for support and figure out what it is you need to do. And that shows up no matter how put together your life is, right? Like whether you feel that every single day is an absolute disaster, or you feel that you've run into something that you've never seen before and you're just feeling completely overwhelmed. I even find that a lot of the clients that I've worked with are people who were overachievers in high school or in university and now have run into this roadblock once they get into the corporate world of the full adulting spectrum and realizing, like, I don't know what I'm doing, but everybody else thinks I do. So it's absolutely connected. And it's more than anything a mindset shift of like, I don't have to have everything put together, but having specific systems and support in place will help me feel more put together so I can achieve more things and also just feel better day to day.
I feel that. Like, I am definitely an overachiever. I checked all the boxes, went to school, and did all the things. And then I was kind of like, whenever there was something that I was struggling with, whether that's like taxes or just adulty things, because you truly never feel like an adult. I feel like we all act like we are adults, but you never really feel like you actually are. So there are a lot of things that like school and sometimes even your parents don't teach you about being an adult. Like I had really bad skills around managing my fucking money. Like I had no idea how to do it properly because somebody was just like, here's a bank account, here's money. Like you have a job, but nobody teaches you how to actually do it in a responsible way. And I think it's so cool that people can kind of say, oh, you know what? Like this is something that this person could be super good at, but it's okay if you're not. And you don't have to feel like you're the only person who doesn't understand taxes or investing or buying a house and getting a mortgage and all of that stuff. And even just like keeping your home organized and working too. I feel like sometimes we think, especially working in corporate, like we all are supposed to be working these jobs for 8 to 9 hours a day and keeping the laundry clean and keeping the kitchen clean and doing all of these things. And it can be really difficult. It can be really hard. So I think that what you do is so important because people need to know that they aren't alone in figuring out their shit. And there's actually like a big community of people who feel the exact same way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I found too that in both my own experience and also others that I've worked with, is that that feeling of metaphorical and physical clutter in your life can really keep you stuck. Like you feel that you're surrounded by this pile, this mountain of clutter, whatever it is, if it's in your physical space, in your career, in the different responsibilities that are piling up on you. And you feel like you have to completely eliminate it in order to get anything done. And so it's really kind of a combination of actually clearing out some of that space to just free up your time and energy to think about things that matter more to you than whether your laundry is done. And then from there, you can actually say, oh, okay, I don't need to be perfect to get to that place of feeling better. I just needed like a little bit of a tone down in the level of clutter that I was experiencing. And so it kind of goes hand in hand with like working through the mindset shifts of what would a decluttered version of my life look like. And it's very individual as well, right? It really depends on the kind of person that you are and the types of systems or support that make sense for you. But in the end, it's really just creating a slightly less cluttered version of the life that you want so that you can focus on the more important things that matter to you.
Yes, and I feel like that's very similar to even the work that we do in the Worthy Woman method is like we're clearing all of the shit that would hold you back from running your business and doing the things that you really want to do. Because if you're clouded by comparison and imposter syndrome and all of these things holding you back, it really stops you from showing up and staying consistent and doing the things that you need to do in order to live the life that you really truly want. And you are a client inside of the Worthy Woman Method. So I would just love to hear from you why you decided to join, especially because we've worked together before. So tell me about why you decided to join the Worthy Woman Method.
Definitely. So, as a overachiever, putting together my to-do lists and getting all of those very masculine things out of the way, I've always really focused on the doing, right? The getting things done and achieving a lot of things. And I found in this 2.5 year process of putting my business together that it's really not the strategy specifically or the to-do list that had ever held me back as a business owner or as like a person, really. And it was the thoughts that were recurring in my head of comparing myself to others or comparing myself to what I thought an ideal life organization coach would look like, right? What life do I have to lead in order to be this perfect, shining role model of what my clients want to be? And so that feeling of imposter syndrome continues to show up no matter what level you get to inside your business or inside your life. And so as I was thinking about my next steps within my business and my life, it's like, I don't necessarily need a to-do list. I need support in my mindset. And especially, and I will say this, like Jill, I don't know any other programs that are this format in terms of the lifetime access and being able to say, this is an investment in my future as a business owner and as a human being, and being able to come in and get the support and get the mindset strategies, right? Like it's not just fluffy, let me think about what will make me feel better. It's very research based and things that can be implemented directly into my life, whether it's practices or meditations or EFT tapping or kind of introducing all these different modalities. But really just having that support, right? That structure of, yeah, I will have this moving forward in my business so that I can conquer those thoughts and things that are holding me back that aren't just on a to-do list. So that was my main thing. And especially having worked with you in last year's mastermind, which was fantastic, and really realizing how much of an impact the mindset work had on what I was doing in my business.
Yeah, because it's interesting because you are one of those unicorns who's like, you know what? Like, I'm so smart. I'm so logistical. Like, give me all the strategy. And I was like, you're going to be one of those people who comes back and is like, oh my God, it's actually like all about the thoughts and it's all about how I'm operating each and every day. Because I'm not saying you need to convince people it's all about your mindset, but some people do come into this online space and think like, oh, I just need an Instagram strategy. I just need to know exactly what to post and how to post it. And in a sense, of course, you need that stuff. But then there's always like a deeper level of transformation and limiting beliefs that come up as you are executing the strategy. And I also think that it's so cool that when I was thinking about making the Worthy Woman Method lifetime, I was like, this is a space where you can come and develop long-term relationships because connections are everything in the online space. You can get referrals and you can also learn how to trust the guide and trust the people in the community, and it really does support you for when you're going through life and when you're doing launches and when you're doing all the things, because this is a very abnormal career path. I feel like it's going to become more and more normal as time goes on, but as two people who come from like a corporate kind of background, like it is scary to think about doing this online space thing and to be talking to people and for them to be paying us thousands of dollars. It's crazy. So, something that I also would love to hear from you is what shifts have you made since working with me in general, but also in the Worthy Woman Method?
I think one of the things that has come up for me, and I'm newer to the Worthy Woman Method as a program, which has been an interesting shift because I'm coming into a lifetime container that others have been in longer than me. And what's been really great, honestly, is like binge listening to all the previous calls and being able to absorb not only what's coming to me directly, but also what others are facing. And I think one of the biggest mindset shifts for me is like, oh, we're all going through this and we're all kind of in this together and experiencing the same doubts about ourselves, or, oh, this launch didn't go the way that I wanted it to, or this content is difficult to put together, or getting distracted, or all of these different kind of things that come up, and we're not isolated in that. So that, I think, has been a big shift for me, is just to feel that community around what we're doing in the business space. But I think for me in particular, one of the big mindset shifts was really, again, just kind of the importance of thought work in general. This month in particular, inside the Worthy Woman Method, we've been doing a monthly challenge where we're working through a particular limiting belief and kind of going through some guided prompts and questions with Jill's support through the chat, which has been fantastic inside Slack. And just basically kind of rewriting a lot of those thoughts and creating that daily practice of what has come up for me in this day and how can I create a more empowered version of this thought that will help me move forward. And it's been able to give me a sense of what patterns are showing up, different thoughts that are coming up in different ways for me, whether it's my content isn't good enough, or my comparing myself to other coaches, or feeling a distinction between what I'm doing in corporate versus what I'm doing in my business, and those sorts of things, and being able to see those patterns on a regular basis. And I will even fully admit that my first day of the exercise, my limiting belief was this thought work practice is going to be a waste of time. And I worked through that specific one and have proven to myself
Oh my
through
God,
the past
that's
few
so
days
funny.
that
Oh my
it's come
God.
back. Yeah, it's full circle. So it's been really kind of getting into these habits of like, this work works, because otherwise I would allow these thoughts to hold me back in everything that I'm doing. So yeah, it's been really, really great so far.
Oh my God, I love that. That's hilarious. This thought was going to be a waste of time. That actually kills me. But I think that doing the work this consistently, like every week, all the time, like showing up and talking about our thoughts and our feelings, it's just like being organized in your day to day life and actually implementing routines and things for you to slowly declutter not only your home or your life. It has an overall impact on your mental and emotional health. It has an overall impact on how you feel. And I know sometimes there is some resistance to doing the work on a daily basis and even sometimes on a weekly basis, but it's because your brain is going to change and shift over time, and actually paying attention to the sneaky subconscious thoughts that can come up are so important. And I really think it is really similar to implementing routines and habits every day for yourself so you can actually start to create the life you truly want. So definitely see the connection there. And I know that you are going through certification currently and you're doing some free coaching. So tell us all about the stuff that you have available.
Yeah, so I just completed a 6-month life coach training program to add on to my life organization, coaching, business scope. And so I'm super excited to kind of expand what I am coaching around and really just having really strong coaching skills as I move into this new phase of the business. So right now I'm actually offering free one-on-one hour-long calls, partially because I want to get my hours up so I can get a credential, but also as a thank you to those of you who are listening or watching me on social media, or really just kind of taking in the various different things that I'm putting out on the internet. And I want to give that back as well. So those are completely free, no strings attached, just basically, if you enjoy it, if you want to give a testimonial, feel free. But really, it's just about kind of practicing my own coaching skills and giving you that support, whether it is with organization or career or relationships or whatever it is that's coming up for you. Just having a really great structured conversation to help you feel ready to take on what's next and overcome what's getting in your way. And we can chat through all of that goal setting great stuff.
That is amazing. So, if somebody would like to book a free session, how would they do that?
Yeah, so the link is in my bio to book one of those on Instagram or my website. That being said, I can also give the link to you, Jill, if you'd like to put it in the show notes. Totally up to you. But yeah,
Okay, amazing. That is so great. And I hope you guys are going to run over there and book one of those sessions. And they should give you a testimonial, Hillary. They absolutely should. Okay, well, Hill, thank you so much. And I'm so happy to have you inside of the Worthy Woman Method for Life. I absolutely love working with you. And I will see you on the next call.
thank you so much,
Okay,
Jill.
bye.
Bye.
And that's the episode with Hillary Flinn, life organization coach and a client inside of the Worthy Woman Method. You can actually go and book a free freaking call with her at the link in her bio at simpleharmonic.co, and it's also in the link in my show notes. You can head over there and book a free call with her. Literally so amazing, and make sure you give her a fucking testimonial because bitch deserves it for offering stuff like that for free. And if you are a coach or a service provider who wants lifetime support with your mindset and overcoming imposter syndrome and to feel safe and stable and secure in your online business, then the Worthy Woman Method is for you. You can go to the link in my show notes and sign up to be on the waitlist. There is no commitment to joining. If you join the waitlist, you just get $222 off of your enrollment if you decide to enroll. And we are reopening the doors in the beginning of November. So get your butt over to the show notes, book your free call with Hillary, and then get on the waitlist for the Worthy Woman Method. Again, we reopen the doors in November, and I'll see you there. Thanks so much for listening to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. Check out the show notes to get started on your free 3-day challenge to overcome your inner imposter. Once you're done listening today, screenshot this episode and share it to your Instagram story, tagging me at YourCoachJill so I can share it on my page. See you next time.